Hello, I am doing a solo recording just because of the timing of the holiday for early January 2026 transits. To set the scene here, we already have Venus in Capricorn, which entered on Christmas Eve, December 24th. The Sun, which entered on December 21st, starting Capricorn season. And then Mars, which entered this sign on the 15th. So over the course of 9 days, we had 2 of the 3 personal planets, plus the Sun, which represents your life force energy, very, very personal to you. And then we have completing the trio to supplement the Sun. There's going to be a huge emphasis within this area of your chart. So you're going to want to pay attention to the house, single house if you're using whole sign, or 2 or 3 houses, depending on if you're using Placidus system and how your chart is structured. But those life areas are being activated for a very extended period of time in a very personal way. So the full time frame, I have the dates on it. So with the Mars ingress, because that was number 1, that was on December 15th. And then this period ends with the Sun, Mercury, and Venus all moving in and out, also with Mars. So it's the first to enter and the last to leave on January 23rd, 2026. And that's because Mars is the furthest planet of the trio. So it's the slowest moving, and it moves slower than the Sun. So because of that, because of the timing of all of this, we are going to have the same kind of mirrored effect of one after the other with some days apart, the planets entering, them all being in there for a few weeks, and then them all starting to leave one after the other. So in the case of Mercury, it is entering Capricorn on January 1st at 4:11 p.m. Eastern Time. Mercury represents your thoughts, language, travel, technology, to name a few. And Capricorn is very pragmatic, traditional, and driven. The last time that we had this combination was January 8th through 27th of 2025. So because Mercury moves very fast, on average, it goes into each sign once a year. What slows it down is the typically 3 retrogrades that happen during a calendar year. So you can look back to approximately 1 year ago and see what were you thinking about? How were you processing information? How is your communication going? Interest or not, fluidity or not in travel. And ultimately what we can expect here, so again, from January 1st to January 20th, that's this year's run, we can expect increased focus, planning, being very practical, and an interest or potentially compulsion in setting new boundaries or maintaining existing ones. So for those of you out there who particularly struggle with boundaries, this could at least either get the conversation going or get you to think about it more. And then, of course, it's up to you, and or maybe with the help of Mars, to actually put those into place. As far as the chart examples go, just as I've done for all the other solo videos, I channeled 3 to go over, so I'm just going to share my thoughts and reflections off the cuff. If you have Mercury going into Capricorn within your first house, then that would suggest, in addition to what I've already talked about, thinking, talking, communicating, processing with regard to your identity. So how are you linking your ambition, your mission, your sense of tradition, your personal growth to your intrinsic identity? You also have the body in the sense of your appearance. So you could be thinking about your appearance a lot in some ways, how you want to grow, improve, change, or adjust it in some way. Again, it doesn't necessarily mean that you act on it, but because we have Mars there, you might, because you compare them together. And Mars is super happy in Capricorn. More on that in my video on that from December, so you can check that out. As far as 6th house, so kind of related, 6th house is your physical health, your balance, your relationship with work, with pets, illness, things of that nature. So you could be preoccupied with, in some fashion, thinking about how to iron things out, how to achieve the goals that you want related to health. Kind of great for the classic association of New Year's and setting a New Year's resolution. You could be thinking, well, I'm going to be healthy and I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to do this. You may be getting especially ambitious about wanting to set these types of physical health and wellness goals, or being interested in getting a pet or additional pet, or shifting how you're maybe taking care of them if you already have some. And again, because we have Mars going on, then we're much more likely to actually jump in and take action on it. We have our thoughts. This is what we're talking about. This is what we're thinking about. Hey, I want to set goals, or I want to be healthier. Then we have Mars there saying, yeah, let's go do it. I want to start this. I want to start that. And then Venus is also moving through this space at the same time, saying, hey, let's not go overboard. Let's take it easy. Let's have fun. Let's make sure our relationships in this area of life are in check. So all of these components are intersecting with one another, plus the fact that we are in Capricorn season. So again, there's extra energy that is reinforcing it. So the hope is with that combination of all of those that you won't necessarily burn out, because Mars could get super excited and then your mind is there and you're thinking about it. But when we have Venus there, the hope is that it will temper some of that in some way. And just the reminders of, I actually should be taking it easy in this area of life and not going overboard or getting excessively ambitious in what it is that you're brainstorming or feeling inspired to do. Now, if we go complete opposite end of the zodiac, we have the 12th house. And that is all about going inward. That's the soul work, the introspection. What's your relationship with isolation, with being alone? What type of ruminating thoughts or reflections do you have if you actually sit in quiet? So again, with this combination, if we're talking about all the above, you could feel more inclined to do some shadow work or introspection, or better understand yourself, your essence, and who you are in quiet and privacy. Apply healing modalities to it, making sure to relax into the discomfort. So that's Mars and then Venus. And then when we have Mercury, it's like, okay, now maybe I feel comfortable talking about it, or I'm wrapping my mind around what I've already started to work on over the last couple weeks. And if you wanted to jot some of it down, if you wanted to journal or document your reflections with Mercury there, that would be extra supportive. You don't necessarily have to share it with anyone. Maybe when Mercury moves into your first house, your identity space, then you'll feel more open to sharing. But there is no pressure. It's just about you gaining that deeper understanding. Reminder to go to the link in my profile where you can access my blog. I have an astrology post that's covering this whole month, as well as my month ahead psychic reading. You can listen to the audio version of it on Insight Timer, and you can read the transcript on my website. And then I have graphics for all of the above, so you can learn more and save them, so you can find all those across my social media platforms. And of course, reminder, if you download my 2026 Life Path Calendar, you'll have essentially all of these overviews, what I'm describing. You'll have the early access to them with all of the dates, the descriptions, where to specifically look in your chart for all of 2026. And you can use that for planning purposes. If you don't get it, then you are waiting for my blog posts at the top of each month, and you're alternatively waiting for just me to drop the video versions on here. If you have the calendar, then you have the preview ahead of time. It's written fully by me, no AI, from my brain, writing everything out for you, so you can have all of that information ahead of time. And then, of course, if you want to come over to my YouTube channel and hear me talking about it, And of course, giving some of these chart examples, whether it's in my classes or in these solo videos, that's the supplementary info that comes up. And of course, I can add a color commentary or other things that are coming up or that we know about just as we are living through life. But you get the full projections ahead of time through the calendar. So if you're interested in getting more details on that or getting one for yourself, you can hop on to my website and go to my shop and you'll find it there.